let's check in on the year of the fire horse, because I do think that a lot of y'all have been sold a version of this year that's not necessarily rooted in reality. It's absolutely impacting a lot of people's energy and mental health so far. I keep seeing this narrative of, this is your year, go, 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 momentum, expansion, shifting, everything is flowing, transition. We shed it all last year in the year of the snake, now let's run ahead, let's go, we're lighter. Based on what pattern though? Because fire horse years obviously are not soft. Yes, they are motion years, but they come with a lot of disruption and destruction. It's a 60-year cycle. We got years like 1666, 1966, etc. If you look at what happened in these years, the pattern is very clear. These are accelerators and initiators. They expose what's unstable, what needs to change, whether people are ready or not. And I think it's more similar to putting your key in the car and turning the ignition, where it's the catalyst for the entire combustion process that ultimately uses a spark to ignite the fuel-air mixture that generates power to propel the vehicle forward. But that's what it is. It's not the finish line though. 1666, it was another year of the fire horse. It was the year of the Great Fire of London. So London's already in a fragile, weakened, unsustainable state. It's overcrowded. It's lots of wooden buildings packed tightly together. And remember, we also have the Great Plague in London wiping out a huge portion of the population. Systems are weak, the people are weak, morale is weak. Then this fire breaks out. It starts in a bakery on Pudding Lane in the early hours of the morning, and maybe under normal conditions, it could get contained. This, however, is the year of the fire horse. It's not normal. It had been a long, hot, dry summer. So the city was basically tinder. Remember those wood buildings I was talking about? And then we got these strong winds coming through and just carrying the flames house to house, business to business, street to street, eating everything. And London did not have a proper fire brigade at the time either. It was very rudimentary and people were literally trying to fight this thing with buckets. The fire burned for multiple days, destroyed about 80% of the city, over 13,000 homes, a bunch of churches and other infrastructure and businesses. Entire neighborhoods were gone. And it was obviously detrimental and catastrophic and devastating and just the worst thing. And it also forced a complete rebuild and change. We would see a lot of that in the 1667 Rebuilding Act that would happen in the following year, which was the year of the fire, sheep, goat, ram, which is very aligned. So new laws were made, stronger materials were used for buildings. They switched to brick instead of wood. They made wider streets and just created a fundamentally different city. The sheer scale of the 1666 destruction would also spur the creation of commercial fire insurance companies, which created their own private fire brigades to protect their insured properties. But also, even amidst this devastation, that same fire is also believed to have helped end the Great Plague, because it destroyed the rat and flea infested areas where the disease was spreading. So even in the devastation, there was this form of clearing, cleansing, purging, purification, forced change for the greater good happening even amidst the destruction. That is fire horse energy. It doesn't just bring blessings, it's not a windfall of that. It can be, but any year could be that. I don't want us to be sold a lie about expectations here though. It burns through what cannot hold anymore. And sometimes what it's removing is exactly what was quietly harming everything underneath in the first place. This is where we ground ourselves so we don't spend the whole year spiraling or bypassing because of unrealistic expectations. The years after matter just as much because remember, this is all a cycle. So 1667 was the fire, sheep, goat, ram year. That wasn't a keep sprinting year. That was, okay, now we plan, process, and start rebuilding intentionally. Remember I talked about that 1667 Rebuilding Act? That was a yin energy year too, so it's internal healing and cleansing. 1668 Earth Monkey is all about innovation, intelligence, and figuring out how to actually rebuild smarter with a focus on stability and physical tangible results. 1669 was the Earth Rooster year. It's meticulous, organized, systems and order-based, attention to detail and perfectionism. By 1669, the chaotic phase of clearing the rubble and needing immediate relief was over. So the focus shifted to systems and organization and fine-tuning the new city layouts, ensuring the new building codes were followed, and finalizing the structures that had been planned in the previous 2 years. Notice how this didn't all happen in the year of the fire horse. We're seeing how the cycle works. So the fire horse is not the finish line, it's an ignition point. We are starting the car and getting the spark to ignite things. It sets off a chain reaction that plays out over the next set of years. And if we bring that back to now so that we can ground into now, if 2026 feels intense or unstable or scary, emotional, things are speeding up but also falling apart at the same time, you are actually so right on time. Even though it sucks, it is alignment. This is not a year to blindly force things or overextend yourself or buy into this idea that you should be in constant output generator. Let's get it done in hustle mode. That's actually how you burn out in a fire horse year. We are much more prone to burnout in a double fire year, by the way. Also, I think I should add, if you were born in the year of the horse, I keep hearing, this is your year if you're born in it's not. That's not how the Chinese zodiac works. And I'm not saying that to kill your morale. I'm saying that so you have realistic expectations. That's not how it works in the Chinese zodiac. In fact, high energies like this can feel even more intense for you, not easier. It is so important for you to ground, and you are much more prone to burnout than any other sign. This year is about discernment, grounded discernment. We have to build each year on each other. They happen for a reason. Focus on where you're putting your energy, what's actually sustainable, what needs to go, what is working, what is being shifted even if you don't want it to shift. What are you clinging on to that wants to be let go? Something is shifting and changing. That part is true. And it's absolutely not gonna feel good while it's happening all the time. If we zoom out and look across other fire horse years, 1906, the San Francisco earthquake, 1966, war escalations and cultural revelations, even 1846 was war and famine and conflict. There's always a pattern of destruction and disruption before reorganization. All I'm saying is don't try to force yourself into a glow up year because that might not work for you. Focus on understanding what this year is trying to clear or expose or accelerate or shift for you, actually. And flow with what's actually happening, even though it's hard. And it's so that the next phase of your life can be built on something real and authentic and true. You can try to run through the wall this whole year if you want, because you're so overwhelmed or because that's what you've always done and it's always worked out before. Or you can tune into what's actually happening and be in alignment. Ultimately, it's your choice. Until next time, y'all.